Howdy, Full Metal Cowboys. Straight shooting a review of Anima. This is the third solo album by Thom Yorke, who is famously known as the lead singer and frontman of Radiohead. A band that I actually love very much, especially when it comes to alternative rock. When Anima was announced a week before its release, I was cautiously optimistic, and that was all thanks to Thom Yorke's second solo album, Tomorrow's Modern Boxes, which I was not the biggest fan of, given how much I enjoyed Thom Yorke's solo debut record, The Eraser. Now, I've already talked about this particular topic on my channel last year, but it bears repeating for this review. But Thom Yorke did compose a film score for Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria, and it was the first time that Thom Yorke ever got involved in composing music for a film. And I did enjoy the soundtrack on its own, but I really didn't enjoy it with the film itself, because I found certain scenes jarring because of Thom Yorke's singing, and I just wasn't a big fan of Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria. And for those that are wondering what do I think of Dario Argento's original Suspiria, I love it! But I'm not here to talk more about Suspiria, I'm here to talk more about Anima. And after listening to Thom Yorke's third solo album, what did I think of it? This is much better than Tomorrow's Modern Boxes, but I wouldn't say it's on par with The Eraser. Thom Yorke has claimed that Anima is more dystopian in comparison to his previous two albums, and he also stated that dreams were an influence to this recent record by Thom Yorke. I can buy into Thom Yorke's statement about dreams having an influence on Anima, given how he was going through writer's block and he let his dreams actually have an impact on what he was going to make next. And that's actually a good way to be creative. Now, as for the title Anima, it is ripped right from Carl Jung's philosophy regarding the unconscious feminine side of a man. Look it up. Look up Anima and Animus. That's exactly where the title of this album comes from. But just simply titled Anima. As to how Anima connects to the contents of this record is beyond me, because I can only see a few glimpses of this being relevant to the title. Now, in most of my album reviews, I usually go track by track, but for this one, I'm only going to select particular tracks that are worth pointing out. Anima kicks off with Traffic, which I think is the weakest opening track to any of Thom Yorke's solo albums. And in terms of direction, at least, Traffic in its own right is actually not that bad of a song. I just think it stands out differently than what the rest of the record is going to sound like, and I don't like this direction that the opening track takes, only for the second track to go in the direction that Anima mostly consists of. Thom Yorke's previous two solo albums actually at least had a certain atmosphere that does blend in with the rest of their respective albums. Traffic just stands out as being the odd duck in terms of how the direction is taking for Anima. Now, somewhere in the album, there is actually a callback to 15 Step from the album In Rainbows, where you hear kids going, "Yay!" You actually get to hear it in Anima as well. I thought that was a nice touch, and I also get a little feeling of a callback to Amnesiac present in Anima as well at the final track of the album, although Amnesiac was not one of my strong favorites when it comes to Radiohead's albums. Hands down, the best track in Anima is Dawn Chorus. I especially love Thom Yorke's vocal registry throughout Dawn Chorus. Now, while the instrumentation may be seen as repetitive, I actually like the simplistic approach with Dawn Chorus, and I love the chorus in the background, because it fits in with the title, it fits in with the tone of Dawn Chorus. And you know what? If Anima ended with Dawn Chorus, I actually think this would be an outstanding closing track, but yet it's near the middle. Oh well. Not the News is what kicks off the short film of the same name, and I actually now wonder, why couldn't this be the beginning of Anima for the album as well? I actually think it would have set the tone for what Anima's going for. Hell, the short film got that right. There might not be much that needs to be said about the axe, but if I could say at least one thing about it, it reminds me of Cymbal Rush, the closing track to Thom Yorke's solo record, The Eraser, especially with how the axe is just as intense as Cymbal Rush. Anima concludes with Runaway Away, which I'm not that impressed of it as a closing track, and this is exactly why I wish Dawn Chorus was the closing track of Anima, because I think it would have left a big impression for Anima along the way, but instead Thom Yorke decided to put it near the middle and not at the end. I honestly think placing Dawn Chorus at the end would be a nice touch, given Dawn is in the title. I mean, if dreams are part of the inspiration for the album and that's what he's going for, I'd say put Dawn Chorus at the end of the album. I don't know. As I said before, this is so much better than Tomorrow's Barn Boxes, but not on par with The Eraser. I'm going to be shooting a 9 out of 10 for Anima. I will be keeping my eyes open on Radiohead guitarist Ed O'Brien, because he did announce a while back that he is looking into making a solo album himself. But there hasn't been any further development regarding news about that, but when they do happen, I will make sure to keep track of anything further. I just won't talk about those further developments because I would rather just let some music journalists focus on that. But when that does come out, I will make sure to review that as soon as possible if I can find a way to access it. If it doesn't come to Spotify or something like that. But I'm sure it probably will, and when it does, I'll be anticipating that release if it ever comes. But for the time being, I'll be reloading for my next review. So until then, I'll see you later.